Hey everybody, welcome back to a new view on travel. My name is Sherry Coleman and I am the manager of Robert Q Travel in Goderich. So welcome.
Hello there, I'm Tammy Prost with Tropical Escapes, Destination Weddings and Travel Inc. and I'm located in Regina, Saskatchewan.
And I'm Christine Turner and I'm from escapes.ca and I am here in sunny Vancouver, British Columbia on the West Coast.
Nice. We are three travel agents from across the country. We have about 59 years of travel experience between all three of us. And we're here again just to talk to you a little bit about, travel and create a fun place that our viewers can enjoy some information and updates on what's going on in the future. So be sure to join us on our Facebook page and subscribe to our YouTube channel. These are our views and only our views. You should ask advice from your doctor if you had any medical related questions, and check with the Canadian Government Foreign Affairs website to get all your newest, completely up-to-date latest restrictions on travel advisories. Travel shaming is not allowed on this show. As I said, we're just here to have some fun and give you some news and have some fun tips and stuff like that. So before we go into the in case you missed it part, I mean, we're on lockdown again for quite a long time. It seems to be the third wave of the never-ending story. So, I mean, I know what I've been doing for over a year and I have completely finished Netflix. It's done. Netflix is done. Prime is just about done. I'm throwing myself into Disney Plus now and Apple TV and buying this, and it's crazy how much television I've actually watched. And I mean, quite a few good series out there too. A lot. Yeah. I know I have a few favorites. I don't know if I have time to list them all, to be quite honest. I've watched so many. But what are you guys watching? What's your favorites out there?
Well, I've been watching a lot of Below Deck, and you can see this on, actually, I like Hey You, the channel, which is HAYU. I think it's like $6 a month. And it's also on some of the TV channels if you can do back issues. And Below Deck, basically it's these like mega yachts that people are renting for, 2 or 3 nights, and it costs them like $250,000. So you kind of get this little insight into the lifestyles of the rich and famous, but because it's a TV show, they don't bring on boring people. So nice. There's a lot of, there's a little romance going on with the crew, a lot of drama with the crew. So that's kind of fun. And they're based out of, they did 1 season in the South Pacific, St. Martin. And right now the current season, they are sailing out of Corfu, I think it is. No, not Greece. I can't think of the name of it. Croatia. So that's nice. A really fun one. And also I really liked Emily in Paris, which was a Netflix show about a woman who goes from America over to France. And I never had that many desires to see it before, but now I want to go to Paris.
Gives you that inside feel.
Yeah.
Oh geez. Yeah. Same with Sherry. We've watched so many series. Of course, the fan favorites like Yellowstone. I'm excited for the new season to start here in the next couple months. Yeah.
June 20th.
Animal Kingdom's coming back here in the next couple months too, I believe.
I can't wait for that one either.
And then we just started watching the 5th season started. Queen of South, big Queen of South fan too, and Mayan MC. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of binging and because there's not much else you can be doing.
No, and the follow-up to Mayan MC, the pre is Sons of Anarchy, which was so good.
Yeah.
You said it, Animal Kingdom, Ray Donovan, Bloodline, like there's so many Mad Men, Shameless, like there's too many. Like I don't know where my time has actually gone in the last year. I've been consumed with the tube. Yeah. So
Bosch is another good one.
Bosch was good. Yeah. Saw it. And I watched that last summer.
Goliath.
I tried to start watching that one. It takes me a bit sometimes to get into something when someone asks me to watch something I don't want to. That's awesome. I mean, I wish they would bring out some more shows quicker, because certainly
we're running out
through Crave, through HBO, through just like absolutely nothing left. So, yeah, to carry on, I thought that I would come down to New York City this week to do the show. There's lots happening. New York City is completely open, which is really cool because they were like on a major, like one of the worst lockdowns in the States. So it's nice to see them open. The New York Times, I read an article the other day. The New York Times is calling this opening the new surge of the Roaring 20s, when everything started to boom in the 20s, and they had this big surge of people traveling, and the economy is getting a huge boost. And I think that's pretty cool that like they're mathematically comparing themselves to the 1920s with how fast, like their hotels are filled up, their flights going in out of JFK and LaGuardia and Newark, they're full, they're traveling, and they just saw the money go whoop. So that's exciting, even though that's New York City. I mean, I hope it comes our way soon, but it's really neat to see that, even just to go back, that they're comparing it to the 1920s, which was after the Spanish flu, right? Lots of things happened after that. So I thought I'd come down here and catch a ball game and maybe a show. I don't know.
I was gonna say, yeah, catch a show.
So in case you missed it this week, Monday, April 12th, I believe, was a huge night for the Canadian Aviation Association and travel agent communities around. Ottawa announced that they are doing a multi-billion dollar financing agreement with Air Canada. The bailout comes in a form of $4 billion in loans, and Air Canada must repay to the Canadian government and in equity investment, which will give the government a little bit of stake in the airline. Air Canada bailout equals routes have hopefully being restored in June, and once again partially owned by the Canadian government, taxpayers, which is us, and refunds are supposed to be coming. Please be patient with those. It's we don't know how long they're going to take to come, but they're working on it, and I guess that's a good thing. So after that, the US-Canada land border is mandatory hotel quarantine is still in play now till May 21st. There was a court decision to be made this week, the latter part of this week, in the last couple of days. I haven't heard anything about it on whether or not they're going to lift that restriction. Hopefully they do, because that will help get the industry back going. Travelers hiring, they're flying, like a lot of the snowbirds are flying into like Buffalo and Detroit and hiring US car services to carry them, drive them across the border. I think it's like $300 from Buffalo to Toronto downtown, US. I know they're doing it in Detroit too. I know a lot of people are landing in Detroit and renting cars. Like the car rental companies over there are screaming they're making so much money right now, more than they've ever seen in a long time, because they're dropping them just across in either Sarnia or Windsor. So they're making their way home just so they can face or not face that hotel quarantine. So 100 plus arrivals into Vancouver refused to hotel quarantine in the last little bit, and they were looking at fines facing up to $3,000 per person, which is pretty much more heftier than they are here in Ontario. Christine, were people actually getting, like, were you seeing people going, I don't care, I'll take the fine, or do you know?
I don't have a lot of information. It's actually a little bit more than that now. What I have not done, unfortunately, is taken a look at whether people are, it seems to be catching on that they can bypass the hotel quarantine by flying close as they can within the US to the border and then driving across or renting a car, which is a bit unfortunate, because we're now again seeing travelers spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars outside of our country in order to get home. So, the minimum fine is $3,000. They are doing the enforcement because, we're getting so many flights in from India every day, which, well, obviously they're not bound, but but obviously with each flight had at least one person on it that was positive for COVID,
Right.
despite getting onto the plane
Yeah.
somehow with a negative test.
Yeah.
So, obviously,
Well,
they would have
to add to that, Canada has bans now for the next month, flights coming in from Pakistan and India. So we might not see that. We might see that drop. I mean, they have such high cases in India. Right now I can't even watch that stuff. But
Yeah.
Air Canada, WestJet, Sunwing's pulling their destination flights until June, which is not surprising. Transat says they hope to resume in June. Cuba-bound Air Canada, Sunwing, Transat will relaunch in June, followed by WestJet and who's the other one? WestJet and
Swoop.
Sorry, in October. According to the government, in a matter of 2 weeks' time, just under 1,200 million people actually entered into Canada by air and land. 90% of those were considered essential and did not have to quarantine. 8%, like since the program was implemented, there has been like 175,000 that tested positive.
Yeah, the numbers are pretty small, very small, in fact.
Very, yeah.
Yeah, but there was a study that came out this week from UBC, and I mean, I commented about this on Facebook, and somebody said, "Well, it's not peer reviewed." Folks, nothing's peer reviewed right now. You get the information, you make the analysis, and you pump out the information so that people can make decisions. So yeah, it's not a peer reviewed study, but what they basically did is they traced back outbreaks across Canada and where they had originated. And they actually found that the majority of them had originated from the US. And there was an illusion, or it alluded to the fact that it was coming from the truck drivers, because like in this 2 weeks in between March 21st and April 4th, 9 million people crossed the Canadian border, land border, and 90% of them were considered essential. So they didn't have to quarantine. Right. So that's where, we go into, North Dakota, Manitoba negotiating with North Dakota to vaccinate the truck drivers, which I think is brilliant. Yeah. And I'm a little bit surprised that we haven't even heard rumors about Ontario and Quebec and British Columbia looking to do the same thing with their sort of sister states across the border.
Yeah.
I mean, why not, right?
Right. Yeah. There's no reason why if North, but and again, they're getting those vaccinations. North Dakota's giving it to them for free. Please come over to North Dakota, get vaccinated, and then carry on. Mm-hmm. So that's kudos to North Dakota for giving up their supply to Manitoba truck drivers.
Okay, it's like 2,000 to 4,000 truck drivers, so it's not.
No, it's not a lot. Still, it helps, right?
It's a start, and maybe a start that other provinces and the sister borders will maybe start implementing and just kind of help along the whole border.
Yep, for sure. Christine, there's a lot of local stuff going on right now too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the things that I thought was interesting was that Trudeau had announced that he wanted to attend the G7. And I kind of was a bit surprised, because I think, certainly in my opinion, is that he has really taken a very anti-travel stance over the last 13 months. And now all of a sudden there's something on the horizon that he wants to do. And he's like, oh, well, maybe I can go. Well, like, he hasn't even had his first vaccination. So I would think that might be a flag for Britain to say, well, sure, yeah. Oh, yeah, come on over. Oh, maybe, no, maybe not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
But the positive spin on this, or view on this, is that if he is now, instead of waiting until a declaration that says COVID is over, now we can open up our borders, I think he will now possibly be getting his government to look at a way through this. Mm-hmm. So is it possible to travel to certain places where it's considered safe, and we still need to have restrictions in place? But I don't know, what do you guys think? How do you see this rolling out?
I agree. I think if he does it, there's going to be quite a bit of backlash.
Well, especially if he doesn't go to the hotel quarantine, right?
Right. Yeah. And he's not vaccinated. So there's that. So you can go to the G summit, but we can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Well, he's supposedly getting his shot today. But I know he's getting AstraZeneca, and we're into a shortage of it. So did he get it? I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We'll wait and see on that one.
Yeah, exactly. In the meantime, WestJet has done a study at Vancouver Airport showing that there are some rapid antigen tests that can be done that are actually as effective as the PCR test. And, we've talked about this before, Sherry and Tammy, where, there's so many airports in the US and across the world where it's a 2-hour test and it's as accurate as the PCR test. Sure, you're paying for it, but, like you either know or you don't, right? And I'd feel a lot more comfortable knowing that everyone that I'm sitting beside on the plane had tested negative.
Right. Yeah.
Ontario, obviously, you guys are going through some pretty major restrictions right now, and they're looking at closing the borders. I know BC announced the same thing. We are putting up signage at the borders, and somebody joked and said, well, if you're coming from Alberta and you're coming across the border and you see a sign that says don't come in because we don't want you here, they'd probably throw a rock at it or something. And not because they're from Alberta or anything, just because if they're coming, they're coming, and they're coming for a good reason, we have to assume. But it's interesting. The police have basically said we're not going to do enforcement. Absolutely not. But there are going to be some restrictions, including limitation on going on the ferry to Vancouver Island. So that's kind of tricky stuff.
Are they going to allow that to go, or at like a 5% capacity instead of packing them all in there? Are they going to keep the ferry going?
They have to keep the ferry open because it's an essential service.
Yeah.
But if you're in a camper van or an RV, you are not allowed, which is interesting, because if you live on the island and you are bringing it home, and I'm sure there's probably some wiggle room there,
right?
But you basically have to define your reason for going to the island, and if it's not for essential travel, then they're supposedly going to turn you away. So we'll see how that rolls. And then NAV Canada has overturned their decision. So the NAV Canada is going to remain in Fort McMurray, Prince George, Regina, St. John, Quebec, Sault Ste. Marie, Whitehorse, and Windsor. So that's really good news.
Get to keep our air traffic control.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a couple of new things opening up. JetBlue has announced that they're going to be offering direct nonstop flights from Vancouver to New York City and Boston. So that'll be a good competition for some of the other airlines that we have that are going there. And then Sunwing is going to be offering flights from London to Cancun, Veradero, and Punta Cana starting in December. So
that's nice to see London, because London has, like that, just our small little community airport that's only about 45 minutes, an hour from here. And all those flights were down for so long, like all of them pulled out. And I think that's encouraging to see.
Yeah, I think so too.
That service starting up again, because a lot of people around here locally and rurally would much rather go to London than Toronto or Detroit, or so that's good. I'm glad to see that. I hope they do get up in the air in December from London. That's awesome.
That's good. That'll be your next flight out, Sherry, from London to Cancun in December.
You know what? If I want to go bad enough, I don't care where I drive from.
True.
I'm out. I don't care.
That's true.
But Tammy, what's going on
destination-wise? Yeah. Well, first off, big happy birthday to Cancun, who turned 51 this year. So yeah, I wish I was there celebrating with them, but I'm just floating around in clouds right now. UK travel is going to resume on May 17th. Mexico plans to vaccinate all adults by the summer in the 5 major tour cities. Awesome. So that's good to hear. Hawaii, no quarantine or testing if you're fully vaccinating beginning in the mid-May. If you are non-vaccinated, you'll still need to must be tested. And another thing in Hawaii, car rental expenses. In Hawaii, car rentals have sold a lot of their cars off to avoid bankruptcy, and they are charging rentals up to $500 a day.
Yikes, US.
You know what? Yeah, I looked
Ugh.
this up I wanted to fact check that. And
Okay.
I looked up a week in, I think, November, and it might have been around Thanksgiving or maybe not. And it was like $1,700 for a week for a compact. Like
US?
no, well,
Or-
no, this was Canadian.
That was Canadian. You converted it. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, car rentals are no longer the little add-on. It's like, you got to calculate this into your budget.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. The car rental companies are ringing in on this COVID, I tell you. Like, they're the ones
sure
that are managing to to stay alive somehow with all these expenses.
Well, if you're not allowed to fly, I guess you can drive, right? So you can rent
Yeah.
a car and go state to state instead of flying state. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Well, and also, I'd rather take a private taxi or rent a car than get on a shuttle bus with 20 or 30 other strangers that
Yeah.
may or may not be vaccinated.
Yeah. So they're taking advantage of that for sure.
Mhm.
Other news, France is set to start lifting restrictions for vaccinated foreign travelers in May, but there was no mention about Canadians. Come for the vaccine, stay for the vacation. Alaska is offering visitors vaccines.
That's awesome. I love
This
that.
could be a faster way to get your second doses for Canadians. So what do you guys think?
I think that's
willing
awesome.
to
I'm
take
excited about that.
willing to rent a car and take a road trip to Alaska to get your second shot?
Well,
No,
it's
I'd
a bit
fly.
of a drive from here. You guys are quite a bit closer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But you know what? I mean, depending on how the vaccination rollout goes, I mean, if I'm actually going to get my first dose on Monday, which is great news. But, if they run out and there's further delays and it's going to be 6 or 9 months before I can get my second dose, I am just going to get on a plane, go to a country that's offering vaccinations and get my second dose. I'm not going to risk my health just because we can't procure the vaccines.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got mine last weekend. Yay. So yeah, I'm happy about it.
And bunch of braggers.
Well, come to Saskatchewan. We'll get you in.
No.
What else do we have in the news around the world? Australia and New Zealand is launching a two-way quarantine travel bubble starting this week, April 19th. Lost and found. Egypt discovered a 3,000-year-old lost city, which is going to be one of the most important since the discovery of King Tut. A couple of hotel updates on a couple of hotel. Hyatt Ziva is going to open up another resort in the Riviera Maya, scheduled for summer of 2021.
Yay.
And a fan favorite, the 𝑑𝒓𝒐𝒔𝒕 Aventuras is undergoing full renovations right now and is going to be reopening in August. So that's a new one to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is all I have for some destination news this week.
Lots of stuff going on. Again, we were just chatting here before we popped on live here. I'm not going to say the place because I can't remember which one it is right at the moment, but literally from lifting their 2-week quarantine because they found a couple more people that had COVID, and it's one of the islands. It starts with an A. It was Antigua. I forget which one it was, but anyway, they've now put that back on. So they took it off and now they put it right back on, only because it was just a couple new cases. It wasn't anything major, but it was enough to them. Nope, we don't want that here. So
shut her down.
Go quarantine. But like that literally happened within a week. So that's, I mean,
how fast things are changing.
Lots going on in the cruise world too, right, Christine? Like there's just so much.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, you know what? And there's a lot of really great cruise deals on right now. I don't know if we're planning on doing a future segment on, all the deals that are out there right now, but like Princess is offering free drinks, free tips, shipboard credits for excursions. Basically everything that you used to pay extra for is kind of included right now. So they want your business. Mm-hmm. Crystal Cruises has been expanding their cruises, and just a couple of days ago, their new itinerary from Antigua went for sale. That's the 10-day cruise that we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. And there's been a little bit of controversy on that one because they have been a bit tardy in doing their refunds. But I'm really happy to say that one of my clients who had been waiting for a year to get their refund finally has, we got confirmation of it. They've got the money in their bank account. So the Crystal Cruise refunds are happening. So if you're out there, we'd love to hear from you, by the way. If you are one of these people who's waiting on a refund, the good news is, like, it's not just me reading about Joe Schmo on Facebook who got a refund. Like, did they really? I don't know who they are. This is a good friend of mine and they got their refund. So thumbs up that Crystal's back on track.
That's good.
job.
Norwegian, we talked about last time. They've actually also announced some non-USA home ports that they're going to be doing. So they're going to be sailing from La Romana and Montego Bay. So some more interesting stuff going on. And then Florida. Oh my goodness. So the CDC, the Senate wanted the CDC to get rid of the ban on cruising. And there was an emergency order that was put in place. So they're back to being not cruising out of the US again. So with Florida, their controversy has been that the DeSantis, the senator or the governor, has basically said that he doesn't recognize a vaccine passport and they won't provide any government documentation to confirm that you've been vaccinated. So he's saying the cruise lines, therefore, if they were to sail from, Fort Lauderdale or Miami, wouldn't be able to require people to show proof of vaccination in order to board the ship. And of course, that's been one of the main strongholds that they've done for safety protocols to get cruising started again.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a non-US registered ship. Does he have that power? Yeah. We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
And then still nothing new on, they were trying to get a bill in place where the ships would be able to sail from the US to the US. In other words, like Seattle up to Alaska, bypassing Canada, because currently with the Passenger Services Vessels Act, you must stop in a foreign country because they are a foreign registered ship. Right. So we're waiting on a bill for that, which would be good for the Alaska cruise season, but would be really bad for, say Vancouver and Victoria, which are ports along the way. Yeah. Or Quebec and Montreal, where people are doing those fabulous repositioning cruises from New York and Boston up.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Well, I mean, again, with the Florida governor, those cruise lines could totally turn around and go back and appeal that. And this could just be an ongoing situation until one decision gets flipped. And again, it's just a matter of time before they actually do this. I want to have a little discussion between the three of us this week on the F word, and not the F word that you would think it's our F word in our industry. And it's service fees. It's fees, and fees. Do you guys charge them? Like, will you start now? I mean, I do to a certain extent if I don't feel like I'm getting, what I'm supposed to get out of the work that I put into it. But I think going forward, the trend will be that you will see, for the most part, a lot of people start traveling, like charging these travel service fees. I know Expedia, we're in conglomerates with them. And I know even if you went on Expedia right now and said, well, I can see that, and it's $50 less, not anymore. Like they've added their own fee into it so that it's flat across the board because they understand. So it'll be interesting to see, the difference between who will and who won't. I don't know what you guys do or what you think, or.
I will be. In the past, I haven't so much, depending on what I felt I was doing for my clients and if it was an easy booking or whatnot. But I have to say that, yes, moving forward, I'm going to be starting to charge service fees just to make up for the loss that we've been dealt with over the last year. Right. Our expertise and our time is valuable, and we should be paid for it for sure. So
we should be compensated.
Yeah. So if something happens like this again and cancellations happen, at least
that. Don't even.
No, I know that. I know. Sorry. But I'm just saying, whatever. Yeah, knock on wood. But just saying that, yes, if anything should happen, I've got it. Yeah, at least we've been compensated something out of it.
Right.
Take it back. Rewind.
Yeah, and when you think about it, like, do you expect, if you're going to go talk to your lawyer about getting your will done, or getting some documentation done, or going to it's tax time, if you're going to your accountant and saying, what can I write off, what can I not, and what are the tax rules this year, I expect a bill for that. I don't get free advice from them.
Yeah, that's right.
So I think, a consulting fee, whatever it is, I think that's just the standard now. And then, a lot of times we have the opportunity to do a markup on the back end. So the price all works out to that's pretty much the same to the consumer either way. But charging a fee up front simply means that our services are paid for, because, if I book a trip now let's just say I book a trip with Transat for Christmas, and then something happens and they have to cancel, but then they reschedule it for spring break. Okay, then now I'm working for free because that's the same trip. I'm just shifting the dates. Yeah. And then something comes up and now they have to cancel. Well, then I'm doing all of that stuff and it's for free.
Right.
And nobody can afford to work for free. This isn't a charity. Even in charities, you get paid.
Yeah.
Some of those top execs in the charities get paid a lot of money too.
Yeah. What I do think that one of the things that we'll see is that there will always be hobby agents out there that really don't have, they woke up this morning and they're like, I'm going to be a travel agent today. And why? Like, what experience do they have? Nothing. But they sign up with a host agency and they maybe get a website or something and they think they know what they're doing. And the reality is they don't. Like, I could be a hairdresser tomorrow, but
right.
You should see my husband's hair. I cut it the other day. Just don't look behind his ear. Hello, whoopsie. But, case in point, right? Yeah, exactly. But if I really wanted to make money doing as a travel agent, as a hobby agent, sure, I could, but I would probably be saying, oh, no, I'm not going to charge a fee. So come book with me.
Yeah.
But you know what? You get what you pay for, folks.
Well, if anything, that's like buying a car. Or I don't want to compare travel to buying a car, but it's the same idea. Like, I saw it. And again, with the fees, as long as you're upfront with them.
Yeah.
And someone like a hobby travel agent, as you called it, they might try and sneak it in and not make the client aware, which is actually against TICO's rules. You're not allowed to do that. Mm-hmm. But if you're upfront with them and you just explain to them why we're doing this, and after all this year, from anybody, anything's heard or what they've lost this year, they'll know that it's just, I read a quote. What did it say? It said something about a free service is a service without real value. And nowadays, I think we're, and will be going forward, more valuable than we ever have been.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, look, if you're in Anchorage, Alaska, and you need to get a flight home and they've canceled all flights and you can't find anything on Expedia, what are you going to do? Do you want that hobby agent who's been in the business for 3 days helping you out? Or do you want somebody who's been in the business for at least 10 years, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, at least. Yeah, for sure. Which brings me to, we always have tips like this for future travel. And Christine, you have some for us this week, don't you?
I do. Yeah. So talking about Crystal doing refunds, and of course, Air Canada is going to be doing their refunds. So the interesting thing is, and I had a couple of Holland America cruises that got canceled on me, and I, was sitting there with a couple $1,000s on my credit card. So I go into online banking and I'm like, okay, well, how do I move money from account? I'm used to checking savings, moving money those ways, or paying off my credit card, but you can't do it that way. It does not think you can transfer money off your credit card, a positive balance, into your bank account.
Yeah.
So I actually researched this, and there's a couple of things you can do. The easiest thing is to call your bank, and you can get what is called a credit card balance transfer. And it takes a couple of business days to get processed, but you can have a part of it or all of it put into your bank account. So, if your credit
Good.
Your refund is like $300 or $3,000. If you've got, look, if you know you're going to do a Costco run,
Yeah.
maybe you just say, well, leave the $300 on there. Or if it's a $3,000 credit,
Right.
maybe you leave 300 and take the other 2,700 and shift it to your savings account.
Right.
So you can do that all over the phone, like I say, 2 or 3 days. Or you can go to the bank, which is a little bit trickier because of distancing and limits on who can go in and all that kind of stuff. But it's called a payment reversal. And that is an immediate transfer. So if you're coming up on tax time and you owe money and you get that refund, you can easily get the money right away, and you can then use it to pay off your income tax.
Right.
And then the other one I heard, which was interesting, is, so I've booked a lot of Hyatt properties, and their cancellation penalty policy is really good. Like, you can cancel right up to 24 hours prior to departure, and you can book it without a credit card. So you put your information down, you get your reservation, which is what I did for my trip in October, and then I don't have to pay until a month beforehand.
Right.
But because our Canadian and US dollar is fluctuating so much, did you guys know that in these situations, you can go in, and if you look at the dollar and our dollar's looking good and you think, well, this isn't going to last, you can make your full payment then.
Right.
But it's still fully able to be canceled. So I thought, well, that's a really good tip, so that you're not just waiting until 30 days prior and hoping that the exchange rates are still going to be favorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
It is. And I've noticed between what I was doing yesterday and today that the price I was quoting something for Disney, and it had completely flipped up, like by $400 or $500. And I was like, now, is that because the room category just sold out, or is that because the US and Canadian exchange rate just went? So anyway, there's always something new, and everything's always, as we always say, it's always changing, and hopefully changing for the better. But to have a little bit of fun in our show, Tammy, we have quite a few. I mean, we had to take some out because there were so many national fun days.
Yeah. Well, if we didn't do, we only do this show every couple of weeks, so we kind of missed some of the good ones. So we'll just recap on kind of what we missed over the last week, and then kind of some future ones before the next show, just so that you guys are all in the know. So 420 is the National 420 Day, and if for most people that don't know, it is the happy hour for having some relaxing time.
Yeah.
I haven't done it for many years, so that's as you can tell, that's how I would roll.
Well, that's about the size of them, isn't it? Like, I don't know.
That's a Cheech and Chong size, I guess. 422 was Earth Day. Yesterday was Earth Day. And then all of this week was National Administrative Week. So be sure to cheer on your admins out there that are out running the offices and making sure the office is running smoothly. Cheers to you guys. Cheers to all you admins. Yep. And then coming up here over the next week, we have May 5th. I can't believe it's May already. Wow. May 5th, Kentucky. May 1st. May 1st. Yeah. May 1st is going to be your Kentucky Derby drink day. So
and the hat.
And Kentucky Derby hat. That's right.
What do you I have like pure bourbon. That's all I could find. And I was going to make what you made, Tammy, but I didn't have time to go out and get some. And now I'm regretting every second of this because I'm not even sure I can.
I bastardized the hell out of this. I don't even know. We'll say it's a Kentucky Derby. Cheers, ladies.
The julep. Yes. Cheers. What do you have, Christine?
I didn't get a chance to work out this morning, so I went with the non-alcoholic version. So I have some soda, and I actually have some coconut, and I know it's supposed to be lime, but I decided to switch it up a little bit. And then I have some, I got some chocolate mint the other day. So it's actually chocolate mint leaves.
I like that.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome. Well, cheers to you guys. And hopefully I can remain on the show for the rest of the 10 minutes that we have left.
Glamour.
Oh, that is tasty. Yeah. If you guys can find some chocolate mint.
Very sweet.
That is not tasty.
No.
But kudos to Kentucky and bourbon.
Yeah. May
Oh.
1st also is beer pong day. So for those out there that are beer pongers,
Oh, the young ones that like to play beer pong.
yeah, have at her.
Here's to you guys.
May 4th. We're coming up on May 4th.
We are. And
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you. I have a few special little guests here that we're going to come, and I have Princess Leia.
There she is.
And then I have a little Stormy. And I thought that would go a little bit better, and they're gone. And then I don't think anyone can see this because it's just not. Oh, there he is. This
There
is
he
my
is.
little buddy.
Stormtrooper.
This is well, it's my son's.
That's me.
Anyway,
Oh, the kids.
I got Stormy. Stormy's taking over New York City with me this week.
Yeah.
But again, a couple of fun little facts. Oh, we forgot about National Travel Agents Day.
Can't forget National Travel Agents Day coming up on May 6th. I know
think
it's
we
a little
should do the
early.
show on the 6th.
We should.
I'm just kidding. We don't have to.
But anyhow, make sure you send some love to your travel agent.
Yes.
They'll really appreciate it. So yeah.
That's right. Yeah, for sure. I have a fun little fact. I have two. Did you know that Italy just announced their first full-on free wine fountain?
Why are we still here?
Abruzzo, Italy.
Sign me
Like,
up.
can you well imagine that? Like that place would be.
I'm gonna
There'd be
have to
people
look that up.
sleeping on the floor or on the cement around them, just like
With a straw.
waiting. It's one of those long straws.
The lineup
Oh, God.
longer than the lineup was for Costco toilet paper.
I think I'd stand in line for the free wine fountain before I'd stand in line for Costco and toilet
Yeah.
paper.
I think so too. Yeah, I gotta check that out.
And
That's cool.
something else I was reading, the Great Wall in China. It was built so long ago, but did you know that it was actually made, a good portion of that wall was actually made, guess what it was? It wasn't mortar. Any guesses?
Oh, probably some drink or something. Because this is going to be you're going to challenge us on this.
Yeah, well, no, it's actually made from sticky rice.
Oh,
Can you
Okay.
imagine half the wall or more is stuck together right now and hanging in there with sticky rice?
Oh,
well, I've
my.
tried to
point
make
so
sushi
much.
before, and getting it over your hands, like it's like a glove.
Well,
It's
I know,
screwing up.
Tammy,
Could
you and I were talking about it last week that like you're not sure the next time you're going to eat
sushi.
no,
It's gonna still be
going to stick
stuck in
together.
I
But yeah, there's
know.
parts of the wall that are left with this sticky rice that it's so thick and strong right through side to side that you couldn't even get a piece of grass to grow through it.
Interesting.
Wow.
Fun fact.
Very fun fact.
More
sure.
exciting yet, I think our next show is probably going to be our best one yet because it does involve Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Yay.
We are going to bypass May 5th. However, our next show, a good portion of it will be mostly on Mexico margaritas
Yeah.
and more Mexico.
Yes. All things
Maybe
Mexico.
we'll throw in a taco or
some nacho
some-
chips.
guacamole or whatever. But and I believe that we've decided that we are going to actually make our favorites each individually next week. Are we not? Or next
Yeah.
time?
I
do
think
that
we
too.
should.
Yeah, I definitely
think
think
so.
that's definitely my favorite
Favorite margarita
favorite
drink.
day of the year. Yeah. I'm not sure it's as important as my birthday, but it's close.
It's a prequel to your birthday.
Oh yeah, in May. It's Andrea. Andrea's birthday's in May.
Andrea's, yeah.
Dear friend. Yeah. So we
That
will
should be a good show.
it will be. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
And I make mine stronger than most. So maybe
No
someone
judging.
should host the show next week.
No judging.
So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We had lots to talk about, and please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe below. Be sure to join us on the Facebook page, www.facebook.groups/a new view on travel. We really appreciated you spending time with us again on our 4th episode. It's fun. It's just even fun to be goofy and
Yeah.
just talk about
Some laughs.
anything but misery or doom and gloom. So Thank you all for watching and spending time with us today. We really appreciate it, and we really do hope you are enjoying it. Please comment below too if you have any questions that you want to ask us, any ideas that you want to hear about on what you can, what you can't, what your favorite place is. Let us know. And I hope you guys can join us in the next couple of weeks, because it's Cinco de Mayo.
Yay!
Yay.
So yeah, join us in a couple weeks so we can share with you again our new view on travel, episode 5. Oh, that's appropriate. May 5th, Cinco de Mayo,
Yes.
episode
Yeah.
5. What do you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to shoot a stormtrooper here, and and I hope you guys have a great weekend.
You stay safe out there.
All right, you too.
Bye for now.
Bye.